Hello, everybody. Welcome to Attitudes with, you guessed it, Andy. This is the place where we get to learn and grow together on how we can be our healthiest, wealthiest, and happiest selves. So thank you so much for tuning in. First of all, I'm wearing my Crocs, so that's fun. Today, we're going to be talking about being in your 20s. I know a lot of my listeners are in your mid-20s. So thanks, y'all, for being here. And if you're not in your 20s and if you're in your 30s, I've heard 30s are in your 20s. So I still think it's relevant. And if you're older than that, come join for a party anyway. Okay. So your 20s. I'm 24. So I'm not even halfway through my 20s. And what a wild ride it has been. One of the best videos I ever watched in my life, and I refer to it so much, is by the old Gary Vee. If you know Gary Vee, he's a bit of a legend. He's a multimillionaire. Actually, maybe he's a billionaire. He's probably a billionaire. Anyway, and he posts these like videos. Some of them are quite intense. But anyway, and he was talking about in your 20s, okay? And he explained it so beautifully. And he said, in your 20s, you are so young that you could literally sit around and do nothing for your whole 20s, from 20 to 30, and do absolutely nothing, bum around, and then at 30 decide, okay, now I want to get my life together. And then you can go and get the job, and you can start the business, or you can do whatever, and you can still have an amazing life. And like, you haven't fucked it up. You know what I mean? And I loved that video. Because he wasn't saying go sit around and do nothing. But what he was saying is he was like, go and try tons of different things. Because a lot of people come to him and they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what my passions are. And he's like, just go and try everything. Like, don't just stick to one thing and be like, this is it. Unless you actually think this is it. But like, don't just go into a corporate job and be like, cool, I'm going to sit here like a potato for the next 50 years until well, that's quite old, 40 years until I retire. And I really love this analogy, and I always tell myself 20s, like your 20s are for your learning and growing and knowing what you like and knowing what you don't like. It's your learning era. It's your growing era. I think I'll always be, obviously we're always going to be learning and growing, but I think in your 20s is the time to like just do it all, because you are never going to be so free and have such little responsibility than when you're in your 20s. And I also remind myself of that. It's like, you probably don't have a husband or a wife, and you probably don't have kids, and you probably don't have a mortgage, and you probably don't have like lots of debt, okay? And so all of those factors mean that you can just go and quit your job and travel if that's what you want to do. You can go and start that business and give it a red hot crack. And if it fails, it doesn't really matter, because you can go and get a different job, or you can go and start a different business, because you have the time to do it. Okay. And so if you're in your 20s and you're thinking, oh, I kind of want to quit my job, or I kind of want to break up with this person, or I kind of want to try this, you should follow your gut instincts and try the goddamn thing. Because the worst thing that can happen from you doing that is you try it and then you know, oh, that's actually not for me. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And you know what? That's a good thing, because then you'll never be wondering, what if I had just tried it? Okay? And like, sometimes we think, oh, I really want to be X, Y, and Z. And then you get there and you're like, oh, this is not it. This ain't it. This is not what I wanted. Once upon a time, I wanted to be a PT, okay? I've spoken about this before. And then I was a PT for a few months. Lol, banter. And I realized, no, that's not it. That ain't me. Because what I found is that I naturally just gave them kind of more like mindset coaching and all of that. And I realized that's what I really like. And that's why I'm here today speaking to you in your ear holes with a podcast, because that's what I really enjoy doing. Anyway, but that's just an example of like, I tried it out and I realized it's not for me, but I still got something from it because I learned what actually did light me up. And now I don't have to think, oh my God, what if being a PT is for me, because I've already tried it. Okay. So I think how I imagine it is like, you're in a car and you have a rough end destination, right? But you're like, oh, okay, let's try go down this road. And then you kind of get to a dead end because you've tried it and you're like, oh no, wait, that wasn't it. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back and try a different way. And that's just like your 20s. You're just trying a bunch of different things. You're seeing what sticks. You're seeing what you're passionate about. And you're seeing how life evolves. Okay? And that's cool. I think that's what we should be doing. Another one of the people I really look up to is Jesse Itzens or something. He is a self-made billionaire and he talks about build your life resume. And he's not talking about jobs. He means like go and do these hard things. Go and do an Ironman. Go and climb a mountain. Go and travel the world. Go and try busking on the streets or whatever it is. Go build your life resume because that is so much more important than building your work resume. Okay? And if you look on my resume, actually I don't add all the jobs I've had, but if you could see all the jobs I've had a lot. Okay? I really have because I've tried a lot of different things. And that is fan-friggin-tastic. Okay? It's good to try before you buy. Am I right? The worst thing that you can do, I think, in my opinion, is just getting a corporate job straight out of uni, being like, oh yeah, it pays well and I can climb the corporate ladder, and then just staying in that. But that's how I work, is I'm like, ew, the corporate ladder. No, thank you. So basically, I hope this makes you excited for your 20s because I love my 20s. I love all the lessons I'm learning. I love the woman I'm becoming. I love the hardship I've faced and I love how I face it. And I love just so much about your 20s. You know what I mean? There's just so much uncertainty. There's so much learning. But at the same time, you're never going to have a time like your 20s and you're never going to be as free. So just constantly remind yourself of that. And if you're ever feeling a little bit overwhelmed about your 20s, go and speak to somebody in their 40s or 50s and they'll make you feel 1, super young, 2, so good about yourself, and 3, you'll realize like how quickly this time will pass and it's just time to just try it all. Try it all, do the thing, you'll figure it out, throw yourself in the deep end, quit your job, go tell that person you love them, or break up with that person if you don't love them, whatever it is. Go do the thing. Your 20s rock. Rock, 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 rock. But I will say. Will I say that? Yes, no, I will say. The one thing I always hear from people when I ask them, is there anything you regret or wish you could do differently in your 20s? Here's the 2 most regular answered questions. I always ask like parents this or elderly people, what do you regret in your 20s? 1, people regret not traveling more. They're like, I wish I had traveled more. And 2, people say, I wish I had invested. Okay? So I always think about that. So start traveling and start investing, even if it's a little bit. And I think you're going to have a great life, really. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Hope y'all enjoyed that. If you want to, feel free to screenshot it, put it on your story and tag me at Attitudes with Andy on Instagram, and we're also on TikTok. Whatever platform you're on, I'd be so grateful if you press follow or subscribe, as that supports this channel a crazy amount. And I'll see you guys next week for another episode. I love you all. Bye.